Yes, sir.
The imagery out of this is incredible. That's really all I can say about this. So this is going to be crossing Highway 24 that runs from just to the east of Carthage down to Cameron. This is our exclusive live Fayetteville Doppler, and the imagery it's providing is absolutely incredible. For this circulation, notice the rainfall from the conventional display forming a little bit of a loop, if you will. There's something going on here along Highway 24 between Carthage and Cameron. This is moving toward the northeast again at about 60 to 65 miles per hour. So if you are basically along 15501 there in Moore County, let me put a storm track on here. Give you an idea of what we're looking at. Not a whole lot of large towns, but folks in Wildwood here in about another 15 minutes, so that's a good bit off toward the north. And as we zoom out, give you a little better perspective, this is going to be crossing into western Lee County, and the velocity image with this is, well, really there's fascinating because there's a lot going on. Let me switch over to that and to give you an idea of what the velocity data looks like. This is where we're, again, looking at the raindrops and hailstones inside that thunderstorm. And as we zoom in between Carthage and Cameron, notice the reds and the greens very close together. A lot of these, you see a lot of that going on, but when you see it lined up with the reflectivity, especially when you've got a sort of a hole in the reflectivity like that, that is definitely concerning and indicative that we've got a circulation in that thunderstorm as it's crossing into, eventually crossing into western portions of Lee County there. Switched over to we'll switch back to our live Fayetteville Doppler, and again, as it sweeps back around, we'll be able to see if this is developing or if it's maintaining this structure.
Very impressive looking.
So this is the storm, this pocket here where we've got rotation. This area here off to the north we were looking at, looks like there may have been a tornado with that at one point, but that cool rush of wind that sort of blows around a thunderstorm as it wraps around may have cut that circulation off, but we've started to see a new one form just to the southeast of that. That is very common with this type of thunderstorm, that you'll see them cycle from time to time, and so that's why you've seen it may have jumped sort of the tornado threat from Carthage over to the east of Carthage there. So we switch back to the intensity, the conventional radar display. It's this area along and south of Highway 15501 that we're very concerned about with that particular thunderstorm. I'm going to let you take a look at that. I'm going to go back up to the broader view here just for a moment and show you what's going on, because we had an update issued on our tornado warning in Person County. The radar continued to indicate a tornado located near Concord, just to the west of Roxborough, moving toward the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. We're sweeping on with our live dual Doppler 5000 and show you that, folks in Roxborough, you do need to be in your safe place. It's this area here where you've got the reds and the greens coming together, and as we zoom in a little bit tighter, this is going to be crossing over the town of Roxborough within the next few minutes if it's not already right on top of you. So you do need to be in your safe place. If you live in Roxborough, you need to be in your home, get to the lowest level of your home, put as many walls between you and the tornado as you can. That's a good rule of thumb, and definitely stay away from windows. And if you're out and about listening to us on Mix 101.5 in a car in Roxborough, I would really urge you to get into your safe place or get out of the car and find a place to go that's going to be safer than the car that you're in. Zoom out and to show you the Longhurst, some of the other communities in the path of this particular thunderstorm. So we update that. And Madison Park, Calville, Montwood, the Gentry Store, and Bethel Hill and Christie, some of those communities along and northeast of Roxborough in portions of Person County. That is Highway 501. This is Highway 49, so in that vicinity to the northeast of Roxborough is where this storm is headed next. Mike, you've got a big picture view going for the squall line, yes?
Yeah, just to let folks know that the tornado warning for Orange County has expired. There are three new severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Hoke, Richmond, and Scotland counties. They expire at 3:30 this afternoon. And again, you can see the squall line that's moving through central North Carolina as we speak with the embedded tornado threat. Also, a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning showing up on our radar as well. I wanted to run through the tornado safety tips again real quick. Now, you need to stay away from windows. We've been talking about this for the last couple of hours. Make sure you go to the lowest floor interior room, and either that or go to a basement. That would give you the best shelter, so to speak. Get under sturdy furniture or in a bathtub, and if you're out and about and you see a tornado coming, do not try to outrun it. The best best thing to do is to abandon the car, get into a ditch or a culvert that would offer more protection. And if you're in a mobile home and you're not under a threat right now, you need to find a sturdy shelter and seek that out because there may be a tornado that comes your way this afternoon. I know Ken about this for the past couple of days. I wanted to show the area of risk that we've been talking about. Yesterday was just a moderate risk. Let's go to the weather computer. There you go, and pop that up. Yesterday we were talking about the moderate risk for severe weather across central and eastern North Carolina. The last time we have seen that was back May 11th in 2008. So it's been quite some time that we've had a moderate risk for severe weather. That's impressive. Now, what was even more impressive was a few hours ago we were upgraded to a high risk for severe weather. It's the area you see in red that encompasses Fayetteville, Raleigh, areas along and east of I-95. We have not seen a high risk for severe weather in North Carolina since March 28th back in 1984, and that was the night that we had a big tornado outbreak that occurred in the Red Springs area, eventually moved through parts of Cumberland and Sampson and Bladen counties up towards Wayne County as well. And so we have the potential to be looking at tornadoes that stay on the ground for a long period of time, contribute to significant damage and the potential for fatality. So this is a situation that we need to watch closely over the next several hours. And we've been showing that squall line. Once that squall line clears your community, the threat drops significantly. In fact, back to the west in Charlotte, there's no more threat. So we just need to see that squall line move on by. Right now, Asheboro, you're done. You're clear for the rest of the night. Greensboro, you're clear for the rest of the night because the front has already come on by. So it's once that squall line moves by, we're in the all clear. But Fayetteville, Raleigh, Rocky Mount, Goldsboro, Roanoke Rapids, South Hill, Virginia, and all points in between, we're not out of the woods yet. I know it may be several hours until that takes place.
We've had a couple of reports now of funnel clouds spotted reported in the Lemon Springs area. If we look at the live Fayetteville Doppler here, you can see to the south of Sanford there in the Lemon Springs area, this lines up quite nicely with what we've been looking at, this feature, this little hook echo on the backside of the thunderstorm that's tried to wrap around a couple of times, and we're in close enough to the radar, we're getting a very good picture of it.
Yeah.
And if we look at the velocity imagery, it's not as clean, so we'll switch back over to the intensity velocity. Yes?
There's a new tornado warning that's just been issued
for
for Hoke County.
and Scotland County
Yes,
now
sir.
under a tornado warning as well. Mike, if you'll take a look at that one.
Sure, let's go to... Yeah, I'll let you set up what you're looking at, and then we'll go get closer to Hoke County. Now, this is the wide view of the dual Doppler 5000 radar. Let me turn off the lightning counter. We've got quite a bit of lightning. We'll go to the latest scene, and it's this area here in Richmond and Scotland counties that are under the new tornado warning. So let me zoom in. This is looking rather impressive. We see a lot of purple showing up, so there might be some hail embedded in this as well. And all the little white dots you see are lightning strikes that are occurring as well. This is rapidly moving towards the northeast at 50 miles per hour. Quarter-size hail and damaging winds in excess of 58 miles per hour are possible with this. So right now the cell itself is in Richmond County, but will eventually be making its way into Hoke County. Now there's a look at the radar signature, and I'll time-lapse this, and what you're going to notice is the view is going to change. It's going to look a little choppy. What we've done, since we have what we call a dual-pole radar here in the Raleigh area, we're able to look at different things inside thunderstorms. We're actually able to, with the dual pole, be able to see things in 3 dimensions inside a thunderstorm. So it really tells us where hail could be occurring. In the wintertime, it's good at telling us where the snow is occurring, where the sleet is occurring. So we've switched modes, so that's why you're seeing that little jump there. And what we're looking at is some very heavy rainfall in northern Scotland County and making its way into southern Hoke County. And I want to stop this and switch over to the velocity data, and it's going to go back up here. Let me zoom in towards Hoke County and see what's going on. There's Southern Pines, there's Rayford, and let me get back to Hoke County because we're going to look for that couplet, that signature that denotes rotation, and we are definitely seeing that in the Laurenburg area. So let me save that view and telestrate. Okay, we're looking at winds moving towards and away from the radar. The red areas, those are winds moving towards the radar site, and the green are the winds moving away from the radar site. So we're seeing rotation in this vicinity here, just to the west and northwest of the city of Laurenburg. So again, if you're in this vicinity, you need to take cover immediately, seek safe shelter, and make sure you're in an interior room away from any windows. A closet or a bathroom would be preferable. Now, let me go back to the okay, Nate is telling me that up in Person County, Roxborough, at about 2:40 this afternoon, which was a whole lot earlier, there was a tornado reported in Person County. So that's out of the vicinity. It was reported at Country Club Road, structural damage to carports, trees down, and a trailer flip. That's up in Person County. So I'm sure our news department would love to know about that, and we'll send a crew up there. But in the meantime, we're looking at this couplet, this velocity signature showing the potential for rotation. Let me put some streets on here coming out of Laurenburg. This right here is US 15, Highway 15. Here we're looking at Highway 401. So it's just to the north of Laurenburg along Highway 15 that we're looking at the greatest rotation. Let me take these off and put up a storm track. Widen out the view just a little bit. The storm is moving towards the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So from right in the middle of the rotation, 50 miles per hour. We're looking at 3:09 arrival time in Spring Hill, 3:11 for the Wagram community, 3:11 at Newtown, 3:12 at Oak Hill, 3:15 at Hickory Grove, 3:15 at Gainey's Place, 3:17 at Bowmore. These are the communities and points in between that are under the gun, and you need to seek safe shelter as we speak. Now, the tornado warning does continue for Chatham and Lee County till 3:30. The National Weather Service was looking at that cell that Nate's been showing you from time to time, moving to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. So we have that tornado warning, plus we have the one over Richmond and Scotland counties. Okay. Nate's got something to share with us.
A funnel cloud now reported by a trained spotter near the Southern Lee High School. And if we'll take a look at the live Fayetteville Doppler, you can see this is moving to the south of Sanford. It's going to be crossing over Highway 421 very shortly. If you live in Sanford or to the east of Sanford there along 421, Highway 87, you need to be in your safe place. You need to get into your place of shelter immediately. This is going to be crossing Highway 421 very soon. And if we look at the velocity information from our live Fayetteville Doppler radar, it's in this sort of messy area here with the velocity data that we're concerned about this circulation existing. You can really see that with the rain showing up with the yellows and the oranges sort of wrapping around, forming this hook on the bottom side of this, the south side of this thunderstorm. And with the word there, let's see, off of highway, this is near the St. Andrews community in Lee County. Is this Lee County? Okay. I'm going to report from our assignment desk there talking about potential touchdown now in the St. Andrews community to the south of Sanford. This is going to be crossing over Highway 421 very shortly just to the south of Sanford. I'm going to zoom in fairly tight here and give you an idea. This is Highway 42. It's going to, the circulation right now is right over Lee Avenue there just to the south of downtown Sanford and the intersection there of Tramway Road. This will be moving into or just to the east of Sanford very shortly. You can see the hook echo there showing up in the radar returns very nicely with potentially a little bit of an eye, if you will, sort of wrapped around a weak echo region, what we call it technically, where you've got stronger returns wrapped around an area of weak returns there. As we watch the information come across, again, this is a live radar data we're sweeping once a minute, so we're getting an update very quickly here as this storm moves across. If we could pull up our safety tips, John, I want to be sure to remind folks in Sanford of how to stay safe from this. You need to be inside a sturdy structure. You need to stay away from windows. You need to get into the lowest level. If that means it's a basement, if that means it's the lowest level of your home, if you don't have a basement, that is where you need to be with this thunderstorm. And if you're listening to us on Mix 101.5, you do need to be abandoning your car, finding a, let's see, structural damage now. I'm getting a word from let's see, from emergency managers there in Lee County. A tornado had been reported now on the ground in the St. Andrews subdivision there south of Sanford with structural damage reported by the fire chief on scene. So this is no longer radar indicated. We have a tornado on the ground. You need to be taking shelter from this if you live in Sanford, especially on the east side of Sanford. Mike, what are you seeing on the dual Doppler?
Well, we've got a storm track up. Let's take a look at the other weather computer, and if you follow the trajectory of this will eventually make its way into southeastern Chatham County, the little Boot Hill area there, and also into southwestern Wake County. So if you're watching from Brickhaven, Haywood, Corinth, Mary Oaks, Bonsall, Holloman's Crossroads, New Hill eventually, this is likely going to hold together and make its way into southwestern Wake County. And if you look at the trajectory, it will eventually make its way towards communities like Fuquay-Varina, Albert Fuquay-Varina Middle School, there's the high school, there's Fuquay-Varina itself, there's the Holland community. Up here there is Apex, and of course Cary. So again, this is likely going to hold together and affect southwestern Wake County shortly, because it's moving rapidly to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour. So this is a dangerous situation. If you're watching us from Wake County, Chatham County, northern Lee County, you need to take shelter right now, because this storm is moving in our direction. Again, it's southwestern Wake County, the New Hill, Holland and Rose community. Nate Johnson has more to add to this. Nate?
I'm going back to this storm in Lee County, and something we're seeing on the dual Doppler. We're looking at it with this technology, this dual polarity technology, that we're able to see the sizes and shapes of different things. And what I'm seeing here is what we call a debris signature. Notice this area of the yellows, greens, and blues here. I'm going to circle it and then switch back. That's almost in the exact same location here as this area of high reflectivity. What this tells us is that a tornado is on the ground and it is kicking up dust, dirt, and maybe even some debris in this just to the northwest of the Broadway community. So again, I can't stress this enough. You do need to, this is a tornado now on the ground. We feel very confident about that based on spotter reports and based on what our dual Doppler 5000 is telling us. We have a tornado potentially on the ground along the State Highway 1537 there, and then Highway 42. I'm going to zoom out. This is going to be to the east of Sanford, moving toward Brickhaven. This is south of Moncure at this point, but you do need to be in your shelter place. I'm going to go ahead and do a storm track on this and give you an idea of what we're looking at as it's moving toward the northeast, about 60 miles per hour. Brickhaven at 318, Bonsall at 325. Areas to the south of Moncure, you need to be taking shelter from this thunderstorm. This is no longer, this is a dangerous situation. We do have, based on spotter reports and based on what we're seeing with the radar, a tornado potentially on the ground here and doing damage, kicking up debris that is being kicked up far enough into the atmosphere that our radar can see it. Mike?
Yeah, it really looks impressive on the radar, because you can definitely see, as we put this into motion, right around just to the northeast of Sanford and the Broadway community, it looks like you can definitely see a good hook or little notch. Let me stop this. And right here, this is where we're seeing the little notch. So if there's a tornado, it would be right here in this vicinity. Let me take that off and outline the area that's under the greatest threat right now. So it's between, as Nate said, Brickhaven and Broadway, and we're getting new images. This thing is rapidly moving towards the north and east. So eventually it'll be crossing into Chatham County. Brickhaven is in Chatham County, so is Moncure. And if you look up the road, there's the Bonsall community, there's New Hill, and there is Holly Springs. Now, a tornado warning has just been issued for Chatham, Durham, Harnett, Lee, and Wake County until 4 o'clock. Again, a tornado warning has been issued for Chatham County, Durham County, Harnett County, Lee County, and Wake County until 4 o'clock. And again, this is likely, at least this part from this cell here, as it moves rapidly to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. Let me click on this so I can get more information, and I'll continue to time-lapse this so you can see what is going on. Now, let me toss it to Ken. I put down a storm track on the dual Doppler 5000. Now, this is beginning to be a really dangerous situation. Well, it already is, likely to have that tornado on the ground, moving through Sanford right now, but it is moving so rapidly. We've had that new tornado warning for Lee and Chatham County, and also for Wake County and Durham County that goes till 4 o'clock. This is the storm track, so we're talking about Brickhaven, Corinth, Holloman's Crossroads, New Hill, Wilbon, Friendship, and Holly Springs and Wake County, but it will extend as far north as Apex, Cary, Lake Wheeler, Garner, and Raleigh. These are all locations that are under the tornado warning right now that are in line to see the greatest threat. If you are from these areas that I mentioned and points in between, you need to seek safe shelter now. You need to go to a basement if you have one. If not, you need to go to the interior room of your house, either a closet or a bathroom, away from any windows that would offer more protection. The smaller the room, the more structurally sound it is. If you need to, bring pillows, cushions with you to protect yourself. This is a real dangerous situation as the tornado moves to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour. Now, what I want to do is take this off the screen and go back over to the velocity signature and see if we can pick that up with that. Let me turn that off.
back and forth, switching between the different modes of the dual Doppler 5000, and we're still very confident we've got some debris showing up in the radar signature just along Highway 42, right where it, just to the south of where it merges with 1537 in northeastern Lee County. This is very likely we're seeing a tornado on the ground producing damage. And while you were talking just a couple minutes ago, I was listening to our SKYWARN spotters, and there's reports now the St. Andrews subdivision there in Lee County of widespread damage. We've got power lines down, the power is out, and the fire chief is there. Looks like there's definitely something going on there, or has gone on. And what I'm looking at here is I'm going back and forth. I'm looking between two different modes of the dual Doppler 5000, and focus your attention right here where 42 and 1537 merge. We've got that high reflectivity, a lot of stuff being returned, a lot of stuff being seen by the radar, and in that same general location we've got these greens and yellow colors with this particular mode of dual Doppler. That tells us that we're seeing debris being thrown up into the atmosphere from a tornado on the ground. So the folks in Brookhaven and Corinth along the 42 and 1537 just to the south of Moncure, you do need to be paying attention to this. This is this little boot heel, if you will, of Chatham County. You need to be in your shelter area right now, and this will eventually move in toward extreme southwestern portions of Wake County. This is going to be southwest apex there, so if you live in Apex, you need to be paying very close attention to this and getting ready to head into your safe shelter place. Mike, you've got a report?
Yeah, Nate, we're hearing off the scanners of reports of damage in Lee County, roofs off of homes. There are searches underway for injured victims inside the St. Andrews community near Sanford in Lee County. That's in the area of Highway 78 and Carson Road. So again, it appears that a tornado is on the ground. It has caused damage. It may have injured some folks there. It is headed towards Wake County, as Nate mentioned, Apex, it's New Hill, it's Cary, it's Holly Springs, and it's eventually Wake County. This is the kind of situation that the tornado is not going to be on the ground for a short time and then go up into the clouds and disappear. This is the kind of setup where the tornado will remain on the ground for a long period of time, and it is starting to head into a densely populated area. So you need to make sure you take cover. If you're watching from the Boot Hill part of Chatham County, northern Lee County, you should already be in your safe place. If you're in southwestern Wake County and in the Raleigh area, you need to seek shelter now. Get away from the television set. If you have a radio, take it with you. Turn it on Mix 101.5. We're simulcasting right now. I guess if you have a laptop computer, take that in there with you too, because you can keep track of what's happening on WRAL.com as well. This storm is moving rapidly to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. Nate's been scanning what's been going on, and it really looks impressive. Now, a couple of things to note. At the bottom of the screen, for our viewers who are watching in Robeson County, there's a really nasty cell that's coming in out of South Carolina. You see the black showing up, and I want to zoom in there. And this is a potential nasty storm that'll be moving into Robeson County, and it looks like it's closing in on I-95. It has a little bit of a hook to it, and you can see the shear markers showing up. It's likely has large hail in association with it, moving into Robeson County. And we're looking at the communities here of Roland, also the Raymond community, and there is the Pembroke community as well. So this is something we're going to be watching, because not only will it likely affect Robeson County, but eventually, if it holds together, it may make its way into Cumberland County and may be a concern or a threat for Fayetteville and areas there. But right now, we're watching that storm that's in the Boot Hill of Chatham County making its way into southern Wake County. And I know, Nate, you've got the live Fayetteville Doppler radar, so you are having more updated images better than I do on what I'm showing. So
dual Doppler again, we're watching this debris signature just to the northeast of Sanford. This is going to be moving into southwestern Wake County very shortly here. So folks in Holly Springs, western parts of Fuquay-Varina need to be paying close attention to this. The signature that we're concerned about is this area here right on top of Brookhaven. So if you live in Brookhaven, you're listening to us, I hope you're listening to us from your basement, because that's where you need to be. This is Highway 42. It's going to move into downtown Fuquay-Varina. This is Highway 1 as that moves near Moncure. And this area is going to be clipping into the extreme southwestern corner of Wake County. I'm going to zoom out to give you a little perspective, maybe familiar with where Raleigh is. It's this area here near Brookhaven that we're concerned about. Very concerned about a tornado doing damage on the ground. This has a history of doing damage in the southern and western eastern portions of Lee County, and it's going to be moving just to the south of Highway 1. Looks like it'll be moving toward Holly Springs. So if you're in Holly Springs, you need to be paying attention to this very, very closely because it is moving in your general direction. And again, it has a pretty strong history of doing damage. Mike, if you got a second, I'm going to switch over to the Fayetteville Doppler, look at the velocities down there, and let you take a look at some of the other threats we're dealing with.
Yeah, I'm looking at the potential for hail out of that storm, and what we're seeing over northern Lee County right now, the potential for at least 2-inch diameter hail. We're talking about the size of ping pong balls and golf balls. So not only are we having the threat for the winds, or from the winds and the tornado, but also large hail as well. And the circles that you see are the shear markers letting us know that there is rotation going on. And with the damage that we've seen in Lee County, again, we'll stress that what we've seen from Lee County, they're searching for injured victims in the St. Andrews community in Sanford and Lee County. What this tells us that there is likely a tornado that has moved through that community. Let me take this off and go back to the radar mode, and we'll broaden out the view so you can see the squall line that's coming through, and we'll time-lapse this. It's making its way into Wake County and the general triangle area. We're hearing reports in Lee County of roofs off homes. This storm has a history of creating damage. It has a history of perhaps producing injuries, so it's a serious situation we need to take and heed closely. Again, a couple of areas we're watching, one farther south into Robeson County. This cell is moving in as we speak. There's another interesting one here in Hoke County, the one here moving into southwestern Wake County, and there are no warnings, at least tornado warnings up towards the north, but
we have a warning out for the Hoke County storm right now.
Yes.
And that is, so we zoom out a little bit, that's clipping just to the east of or west of Rayford now. It looks like the potential area for a tornado where we'd be looking for a tornado is now just to the east of Rayford. You zoom in and show you that real quick. And it's going to be in this area here, just to the east of Rayford. Watch the radar sweep around one more time. The Saunders community. You guys have already dealt with this once today. We need you to go ahead and get back into your shelter place again. Again, lowest level of your home. Please stay away from windows. Get into your basement if you have one, or at very least the lowest floor of your home. By the way, we're getting phone calls from our folks at Weather Call. There are some issues registering for the Weather Call program, but the calls that for folks that are already registered are going out. So if you're signed up for Weather Call, you're getting these weather calls as they're coming along, and you're getting the advance notice for these particular thunderstorms. All right. You zoom back out and look at this storm in southern Robeson County just real quick, and then we're going to focus back up on the storm getting ready to move into Wake County. This storm down to the south is impressive. It's moving out of South Carolina. Notice a very impressive rotation signature here, a little hook echo. So folks in Pembroke and eventually Maxton, Laurenburg, and Red Springs. Wow, this is a deja vu, Mike. The last time we had a high risk was 1984,
March
and you
28th.
remember the Carolinas outbreak that damaged Red Springs. This thunderstorm may be moving in your direction, so if you're in Red Springs, just keep an eye on it right now, but be ready to take shelter if you need to. Mike?
Yeah, we're looking at the velocity signature on the Dual Doppler 5000, and the greatest area of threat right now is in the Boot Hill portion of Chatham County, right about here, and it is moving rapidly to the northeast at 70 miles per hour. So all the communities in this area are under the threat. We're talking about New Hill, we're talking about Holloman's Crossroads under the threat right now. We have Holly Springs right here that's in line of sight, Apex farther to the north. There's also the Highland Park community, and then eventually Raleigh and Lake Wheeler and points in between. So if you're watching in this area, of course you need to take shelter immediately, but the greatest threat right now as we speak is in that Boot Hill portion of Chatham County. So let me zoom in there and take a look at what we've got going on. Now, the tornado warning for Chatham County continues, but Lee County has been canceled. Now, we have reports from amateur radio of the tornado, houses damaged and trees down in the St. Andrews subdivision, that we know. And then also we're getting a storm report from the Bethel Hill community in Person County. This occurred at 2:50 this afternoon. They report a tornado damage from Bethel Hill to Concord. 6 homes have been demolished. Not just damaged, but the word here is demolished. So these are some hefty tornadoes that we are dealing with this afternoon. Of course, there's the Cape Fear River. There's the greatest rotation signature that we're seeing right now in the Boot Hill portion of Chatham County. There is the Corinth community. There's Cokesbury. There's Duncan. There's Holloman's Crossroads up here. There's really no other communities that's coming up on the radar right now, but if you're between Corinth, Holloman's Crossroads, Cokesbury, Duncan, there's a Columbia Springs in the area, you are under the threat right now, and the storm continues to bear down on southwestern Wake County. I will time-lapse this. Again, this is our velocity signature. What we look for here is the winds inside the thunderstorm, and it's this area right here that we're time-lapsing. Let me put the latest view up. This is the area that has the greatest rotation. This is the area that's under the greatest threat right now. And the storm is moving so fast that it's likely that this has advanced already into southwestern Wake County. And a new tornado warning has just come down for, many communities. We have Granville County, we have Vance County, tornado warning in effect until 4:15. We also have Cumberland County, and we also have Hoke County that are in a tornado warning until 4:15 as well. So,
Vance, and I'll take a look at Cumberland and Hoke.
Okay, so let's go up to Vance County and Granville County, and in the meantime, Nate will concentrate on Cumberland, and we'll go back to him after we've finished looking at Vance and also Granville County. So here is what we're looking at. The radar signature, we'll time-lapse this, the reflectivity, and notice that this cell is moving towards the northeast at 55 miles per hour. The National Weather Service has indicated the possibility of a tornado near the STEM community. Now let me show you where STEM is. There is Butner, right about, there's Creedmoor School, Elementary School. This right here is the STEM community underneath the shear markers. Let me turn those off. And there is the STEM community. The Doppler indicated tornado is over STEM, 6 miles northwest of Creedmoor, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour, damaging straight line winds in excess of 58 miles per hour, and large hail are also likely with the storm. So let me stop the time lapse and put up a storm track. And there, let me see if I can get this over here. There's the STEM community, northeast at 55 miles per hour. So let's see, the Providence community, Belltown, Kenton Fork, Oxford, Horner, Lewis, and the Gila community, and there are the times present that it should be affecting your community. You need to take shelter immediately. The storm is heading towards you as we speak. This is a radar indicated tornado, but this system has had the history of producing tornadoes that have been on the ground, and this is moving towards the northeast, moving out of Durham County and making its way up into Granville and eventually Vance counties. So you need to seek shelter immediately. Let's go to our storm tips real quick. Just as a general reminder, if you have a basement, that's the best place to go to. If not, on the lowest floor of your house, an interior room, the smallest room is usually the more structurally sound room, be it a closet or a bathroom. And also stay away from windows, because windows will shatter, the glass will fly, and you can get injured from that. Get under sturdy furniture or in a bathtub. It would be a good idea to take pillow cushions. I've heard stories of people taking mattresses and putting them over themselves to protect them. And if you're a car and you're listening to us on Mix 101.5, do not try to outrun a tornado. You want to abandon your car and seek shelter in a culvert or a ditch on the side of the road. If you're in a mobile home, you need to find a brick structure, because you're not going to be afforded any security in a mobile home. You need to find your safe place, as Nate's been saying all afternoon. The safe place is the best place to be, and you need to find it right now. Now, if Nate is set up and ready to go, he'll tell you more about the tornado warning that is in effect for Cumberland and Hoke County.
Yeah, this storm right now is moving over Rayford as we speak, and it is I'll go back. I want to update the storm track now. Moving over Rayford, heading toward Foxfire, Beaver Creek, eventually Spring Lake in about 15 minutes or so. There's also likely some hail north of Rayford in this thunderstorm, but we're concerned with a potential developing tornado in Rayford. We'll put some streets on here for you. This is Highway 401 as it continues east from Rayford into Fayetteville. I'm going to try and clean the screen up a little bit. We've got a lot going on here. And Highway 401 there just to the east of Rayford toward Fayetteville. So if you live along and really either side of Highway 401, as that storm is crossing Highway 401 and moving from Rayford into Hoke County, and that's going to be clipping the extreme northeastern portions or northwestern portions of Cumberland County here shortly. And Mike, you've got an update on the tornado warning now for Wake County. This is an impressive thunderstorm.
Yeah, you need to look at the velocity and see what's going on with that, but you can definitively see a hook echo moving through southwestern Wake County right now. Dare say there's likely a tornado on the ground. We haven't had any ground truth, but this is a very impressive looking cell.